What's up, guys? How's it going? Hope you're all doing well. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like and subscribe. And in today's video, I want to talk lightweights and a possible matchup between Giorgio Visioli and Curmel Moton. So obviously, these two guys have sparred before, and lately they've been sort of going back and forth. They ran into each other at the top ranked gym a couple of days ago. Both guys were claiming they want the fight. So both guys do have a scheduled fight against other opponents, and I'm sure both guys will come through those fights. So we'll see if both guys get their teams to sort of send the contracts and make the fight happen next. I do doubt this will happen, mostly due to Floyd Mayweather, obviously, and Curmel Moton's side. I think he's only 19 years old, so I doubt they would want to risk him getting upset here or getting beat by Visioli. Also, like I said, these guys have sparred before, and supposedly Visioli got the better of the sparring. According to Eddie Hearn, Visioli sort of smashed him to pieces, and Visioli has also stated that he sort of pinged Curmel Moton, around the ring or whatever, or pinged him with shots anytime he sort of wanted to, out of that southpaw stance. So, yeah, like I said, I think Visioli and Eddie Hearn probably would be willing to make the fight happen next. However, like I said, I don't think Floyd and Moton's team would be willing to put him in there. Like I say, he's only 19 years old. Um, and we've seen Floyd Mayweather, he's very strategic with his matchmaking. We've seen that with Tank and his career as well. They don't really like to take too many risks. So I wouldn't expect it to happen next, but you never know. Like I said, both guys are talking a lot of trash, and Moton seems to want the fight. I don't doubt Moton that he probably does think he's ready and that he could beat Visioli, but I think his team's probably not gonna let that fight happen next. And sort of from a business standpoint, you could see the reasoning why. Obviously, you don't want to take a loss at this point early in your career. Um, especially when you probably won't be getting paid that much for it, because if these two guys clash at this point, neither guy is a big name yet, so they probably won't be getting the biggest of purses for a fight have it if it happens next. So I could see them probably facing each other down the line, in a couple of years' time. However, this is also, something that could not happen because Visioli and Moton, they got different builds. So Visioli might move up in weight a bit more because Moton, I think, is quite a bit shorter. I think he's about 5'5", and Visioli's about 5'8". So Visioli is, naturally a lot taller. And if these two guys fought, I think Visioli's height and reach would give Curmel Moton a lot of issues. We've seen Moton sort of had some sort of issues when facing sort of taller, slick southpaws. We've seen him in the amateurs get beat by Zaquan Moses. However, I think it was actually a pretty close fight that. Um, but Moton, he's a very well-rounded fighter. He's fundamentally very sound. He's got a great punch selection, good power, great body puncher as well. I think he's got a very good jab, and I think he's got pretty good feet as well. Because stylistically, this matchup between Visioli and Moton would sort of remind me of almost of a Billy Joe Saunders versus a Canelo Alvarez. However, Moton has better feet than Canelo Alvarez, in my opinion, who was very sort of flat-footed. Moton is not as flat-footed, a lot lighter on his feet, and like I say, Moton's a good fighter, but if this fight were to be made now, I probably would be picking Visioli. I think Visioli's height and reach definitely would pose him a lot of issues. Visioli's a very fluid mover around the ring, and as well very fundamentally sound with a good boxing IQ. Both guys are uh, you know very, very good boxers. I mean, these guys are two of the top prospects in the sport. Um, so both guys are fundamentally sound, good boxers. But like I said, Visioli's height and reach with his movement. He's a pretty good counterpuncher as well. So is Moton, but I think Visioli might have slightly better timing, and with the height and reach advantage, I think he would give Moton a lot of issues at this point in his career. But Moton also is suited to the pros with his style. He wasn't really suited to the amateurs. He's got more of a pro style, good body puncher, very accurate. So I mean, it would be a very interesting fight. I would hope they would make the fight happen next. However, like I said, I doubt they will. Probably mostly due to Moten's team. I think Eddie Herden and Visioli would probably make the fight happen if Moten's team is willing to do it. But we'll see. Like I said, if they do make the fight happen next, I would be favoring Visioli. I think he'd be able to probably win a competitive points decision over Curmel Moton. However, like I said, Moton is suited to the pros, so I could see him having some success. More so, probably in the back end of the fight. I think Visioli would probably start to fatigue a little bit from being moving around the ring quite a lot, and also Moton going to his body. Visioli is also a good body puncher as well. Also a very sharp, accurate puncher. I think Moten has slightly heavier hands out of the two, but like I said, Visioli's height and reach, in my opinion, would give him the edge in this fight because he knows how to, utilize his height and his distance. So I think he'd be able to probably outbox Curmel Moton for the majority of the early rounds. I could see Moten sort of coming back into the fight a little bit in the second half of the fight, but I think ultimately Visioli would probably be able to do enough to win a points decision over Curmel Moton, in my opinion, if these guys fought at this point. But let me know what your guys' thoughts on the comment section below. Do you think they will make the fight happen next, and who do you think would win if they were to fight? Let me know in the comment section below, guys. Thanks for listening. Talk to you guys again soon. Cheers.